Christmas, everybody. Hi. My name is DC, the legend of awesomeness, of course. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And welcome to episode 13 of the Men's Conference Podcast. Like our page as always, that is on Facebook. And definitely follow us on TikTok and all social media handles. This episode is brought to you by Bongo Bongo. So click our link below in the description to play some awesome games. And that is Aviator and Candy Crush and ETC. So if you want to win some cash, make sure to go on Bongo Bongo Zambia page, Facebook page, and get to win some awesome prizes right there. And click our link to win some cash. So it's as easy as that. So welcome to episode 13, guys. And as usual, I have my two men brothers in the building. That is Laz and that ranting guy. And
hi, everyone.
Our special guest,
the man himself,
the legend,
Lord Wapi.
Lord. How you doing, bro?
Thank you for having me. It's good to be here.
It's good to be here.
Yeah.
Amazing, man.
Men's conference.
Of course.
Finally.
Yeah. But no, we've had you on the show before, so.
Really?
Yeah, 2021.
Yeah.
When it used to be a radio show.
Show?
Well, yeah, but none of you interviewed me, right?
Yeah, we were around.
Yeah.
We were around.
We were camera
I was
shy.
interviewed. Yeah, I was interviewed. And guess what? I was interviewed this day. If my memory serves me right, or Mark Zuckerberg serves me right, I was interviewed today, about 2 years ago.
For real?
On Men's Conference on radio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was.
I saw it. I saw it on my memory today.
For real?
This morning. Yeah. This
Wow.
How weird.
very day.
The stars are
Around
aligning.
this very time.
The stars are aligning.
This is going to be a very great episode.
Yeah,
we
right.
didn't even think of it like that. We didn't even
really?
We didn't.
Yeah. I think I checked my memory and it was this day 2 years ago.
The stars are aligning.
Yeah.
It's
There you go.
definitely a Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
But how are you guys doing?
Yeah. Well, for me, it's same old. Work. Sleep. Watch a series. There's not much going on except trying to make money in this harsh economy we are trying to survive. Other than that, there's nothing special, my guy. Tetin Kubepe.
I see.
Like,
Yeah, same here, man. Like I won't say much, but just like him, bro. Just trying to make money, doing the best we can. As men, it's a rough world out there, so it's not very easy. So
Conquer the world with power.
Yeah.
Lord Wapi.
How am I doing? I'll copy from the gents here. We're all trying to make money.
Yeah.
The year has been very interesting. Looking forward to the next year. Definitely won't be making any resolutions.
I know. I was about to ask you that.
I won't be making any resolutions because
People have
my
been doing
goodness.
that every year.
I don't think those things make so much sense. Like, do you necessarily have to wait for a date to
start
actually
afresh?
say, okay, now I have to? I feel like it's fake motivation that only lasts you a couple of days.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I feel like the way you end your year is how you're going to start the new year most of the time. So resolutions never make sense to me. Hey, they work for you, that's for you, Wakalume.
Exactly. We're not telling you to stop. So just continue.
Well, the thing is, everyone wants a fresh start. It's not just about like resolutions for a new year. People even feel great when it's a new week or it's a new day. They're like, okay, it's a new day. Yesterday didn't work out. Today I'm going to work. Today I'm going to achieve this and this and that. And then that doesn't work. Then they extend it to like a week. This week I'm going to nail this and that. And then they extend it to a month.
That's a problem when you rely on motivation.
Yeah.
You just need to be disciplined enough just to go
where
for
even
it.
when
Like
you
ignore your feelings.
Ignore your feelings, exactly.
Otherwise it's wild for everyone. But hey.
But how's the weather? I mean, it's been hot, it's been cold. How do you like it?
Okay. First of all, I didn't expect to be asked how's the weather.
Bruh,
The last time I asked somebody how's the weather, it's when I was trying to ask a date. I think Nadim grade 11.
I'm different.
How are you? How's the weather?
I'm different. Some things you just have to ask some things. How's the weather for you? Do you like it?
It's
Do you
raining.
hate it?
I think it's raining.
It's not raining, is it?
It was supposed to.
Mulusaka fena issue pafe mfula.
Because I hear in Serenja it's raining, but here it's
cats and dogs.
Yeah, cats and dogs. Bro.
Other places it rains nearly every day.
Yeah.
It's only here.
I think I know why. Too many people cheat on each other.
Oh, come on, come on. That's a lie.
Lusaka,
Too many
a place for business.
Wait, too many people cheat on each other. Isn't like is a specific gender supposed to be cheating the most here?
I thought it was because businessmen doelela someone told me that my businessmen Lusaka doelela. They will do witchcraft on the way. I don't know how possible that is, but anyway,
it could be.
How far do you think we are to the technology? I heard there's a place in the world. It probably has to be is it Dubai? Somewhere in the Middle East or something, where they've just decided, you know what, we're going to just create our own rain.
Isn't that like
right?
I watched. They call it cloud. There's one I saw in China, the Chinese desert. They launch like little missiles in the sky. And when they blow up, they release some, what causes rain?
Something. I know the science you're talking about. It's just like the words
they literally force rain.
Force rain, yeah.
Isn't that going to be implemented in 2030?
Yeah, in some places, but China and these some other desert countries, they've already started it. They're not waiting for 2030.
So Zambia, let's give us about, 100 years?
Yeah, I know.
200 years?
I know, right?
200 years, maybe 3.
Yes, because that technology.
I mean, we still need to figure out network in Zambia.
I know, right?
I mean, I lose my internet just being under an umbrella.
Hey.
Hey, it's
or in a moving car.
Yes.
That's it.
One pothole and then, Dave is saying hello. Yeah. This man is cheating.
So anyway, we're definitely talking about a couple of things right here. And one of them, the most important we want to talk about is suicide in men. So the rate of suicide in men has increased. And what are the reasons and how can we prevent it? So it's been crazy out there, Men have been, offing themselves for the longest time. And apparently nobody is actually doing anything about it. They might say, no, men need to do this, men need to do that. But do you have a program to do that? Yes, we get it that there are institutions and whatnot, but are they programs that are actually helping men prevent men from actually killing themselves? So those are one of the topics we want to dive into. We'll dive into many topics, but the main topic is suicide in men. What are the reasons?
It's getting crazy.
It's pretty simple. It's because they don't realize how valuable, or no one tells them how valuable they are. Because if you see a group of women, whenever something bad happens to them, they're always like, no, you go, girl, you're special. You don't need him. You can do whatever you want and all that. But with guys, I don't think they have that safe space, whereby when they're in a tough situation, they have people coming together say, I know you're special, dude. Don't worry. You can do it. You can conquer the world, man.
Yeah.
I think like it's basically letting him know how much potential and how much value he can offer him, the world and himself as well. So I think that's the situation why men commit suicide a lot, is because they don't really know how much valuable they are to the world and others as well.
Yeah, true. I mean, like what he said, men are not actually prepared to be in a certain state of emotion, because when a man actually kills himself, those are heightened emotions that he cannot actually control. So at a young age, what are we told? We're told, hey, a man's not supposed to express himself. A man's not supposed to cry. A man's not supposed to do certain things. So when he reaches a stage, because the thing is that when we're young, they never prepare us for the hardships of a man between the ages of 25 to 35. Like this age gap it's messed up. It's crazy. So when a man actually reaches that stage, now he tends to think, damn.
Yeah, because our life is tough because we have to create value. It's not like when we're born right there, like 18 years old, like life is very difficult compared to us when you compare to women.
That's true. But before I disagree with you a bit, first I would like to hear what Lord Wapi.
I wanted to hear the views first. Because I think I was even saying before we started the show that My goodness, it's a festive season, and this is the topic that the men's conference
can you
podcast
imagine?
has landed, on me.
I think it's best because we need to address it.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
true. I mean, given the recent,
it's actually what
happenings in the
inspired.
news.
Exactly.
It's inspired this episode.
I'm guessing we also have to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah,
right?
we can dive into
very
that,
much.
yeah.
Okay. Well, the topic of suicide is not something I shy or run away from. I mean, I used to, just because I just didn't know how to like handle the conversation, because it's a very, very complicated
Yeah, it's
topic,
very brittle.
right? It's not one of those topics you can generalize, and it's very common for us, in the media and podcasters and whatnot, to generalize issues, right? But this one, it's very, very, complicated. But then the time I started actually, inviting and welcoming the conversation of suicide is when my friend committed suicide. Exactly. So a friend of mine committed suicide some years ago, and I just didn't understand it. Like, okay, what was going on? So I wanted to know, like, okay, I want to start learning about this. So I'm still learning, but and learning is having conversations like this, right?
Yeah.
So, like, what has already been said, suicide, we all know. Well, for those who don't know, but suicide is usually common in men than in women. Not that women do not commit suicide, but then men commit suicide more than women. And I presume from what I've learned so far is that men don't know how to control their emotions or how to handle their emotions. Because from an early age we're told, hey, suck it up, don't cry. Like an expression of emotion is seen as weakness.
Yeah.
You can't talk to your father about it, or your mother, or your friends, or your family, and whatnot. They're going to see you like, what are you crying about, right?
Yeah.
So now, as a man, you grow up just bottling things inside, and then to manage or handle your emotions, you do certain things like you fool around with women, and you go out and drink, and you smoke, and you do drugs and whatnot, and these things only enhance the emotion of wanting to off yourself, as it were, right?
Yeah.
So that's how you end up in that situation where you're completely depressed, and you've been and depression is a very smart thing, because it wants to isolate you, and it wants to make sure that you reach a point where you say, I want to kill myself.
Yeah.
Because what you've said is true. Depression only thrives when you're alone.
Yeah.
When you have a support system, it's almost non-existent.
Yeah.
And just what he said earlier in terms of men not knowing how great or how needed they are. Women, yes, women. Okay. Women do tell themselves, this will be a little bit controversial, but women put themselves in a sort of slight deluded fantasy mindset to cope with negativity in life. You've seen them come out, I'm a queen, I'm the mother of the earth, I'm the shan. That's perfectly fine, but it's a mechanism for women on how they cope with some of these pressures they have, okay? Men don't have that support system, you've said, for sure. But, what I believe is just most men today just don't have a purpose. Think about it this way. Statistics say current generation of men are more suicidal than our grandfathers were. Our grandfathers did also go through hardships. They did also struggle. They did also suffer. But we should look like, how is it that they survived? How is it that despite life beating them down, they still manage to stay strong? Okay? In as much as you say men don't have a support system, men haven't had a support system like this for a very long time. Men have never really talked as much as we do in our era. Men from the beginning, as a man, you're not allowed to be weak. I think it came from, on the weak will be eaten by maybe some lion. So you couldn't afford to show weakness because others will take advantage of you. Others will attack you. So you would go as far as we ignored some of the things that can kill you, not in the physical realm, but up here. We forgot that there's also death in the mind. It's not only just physical. But I believe it's...
So you're saying a man without a purpose, I think you mentioned something about...
A man that hasn't recognized his purpose usually ends up like that. Because believe me, usually when you believe I have to achieve something, it's a goal. As you are always chasing after that goal, it may be whatever, it may be your career, it may be anything. Okay, you are chasing after every day, you're trying to accomplish this thing. Time moves. But people that have heard that that have unalived or committed suicide, it's in a situation they had a purpose, they gave up on it. Where they say, I tried my best. It's not making sense anymore for me. But others don't even have a purpose at all. They just wake up every day and wonder why life. Those are the ones that ask themselves, what's the meaning of life?
Exactly. So that means those are the ones that actually seek the same alcohol, drugs.
Yes, they're trying to find which place they can be. In as much as they may try to numb themselves from the feeling of that maybe emptiness, they're also trying to find meaning. Like, what is it? What's my purpose? It's like, every human is like a cog in a watch or a clock. There are those moving parts. Then you're like an isolated part. The clock is moving fine, but you feel like, shouldn't I be contributing here? I feel like I'm out of place somehow, and I'm trying to find what position will I be.
And that's why I was saying. That it's to generalize, the issue of suicide it's a little bit dangerous because, for example, you are right. There are some people who, if they're given purpose, if they realize their purpose, they'll know, okay, you know what? But then I can give you several examples of people that have committed suicide, and you would look at them and say, well, you had a great family, you had a good job, you had a good career, and you were, heading for the top and whatnot, and still... I'll give you an example. That I think the recent celebrity who committed suicide was DJ Twitch. Ellen DeGeneres, right?
Yeah.
You remember that guy?
Yeah.
Happiest man you've ever seen on TV, right? Great family.
Dancer.
Great job. Dancer, musician. He had everything. You'd assume, right? He had everything. But clearly, there was something he was missing. And then, he committed suicide. So... There's so many, that's why this issue is so complicated, and the reason why it's complicated is because those, and I need to remind myself that there's a term that is now being used for those that successfully commit suicide and they pass away, and then those that attempted, there's separate terms for both of them, but the ones that actually successfully commit suicide, they're not here to explain to us why. And even if they did in a suicide note, who's to say they just wrote some gibberish? And they were telling a lie. Someone can write in a suicide note saying, well, I committed suicide because so and so and so and so, when maybe they committed suicide for another reason. And they just wanted to leave that to kind of console
in short,
their loved ones. So those people are gone. They can never explain to us. And that's why us who have survived them will just remain arguing about this thing, because they're the ones supposed to tell us, okay, well, this is what drove me to this point. We are left to assume. And even professionals, experts, they too do not speak with certainty saying, well, people commit suicide because of A, B, C, D. They're also just making assumptions. Well, maybe it's this. Well, maybe it's that. You know what I mean? Now, imagine us who are not even experts about this thing. You know what I mean? Because it's been years since my buddy committed suicide. To this day, I still ask myself the same question.
Why?
did this?
Yeah.
You know, like, why?
Wait,
what
wait.
was it?
Wait, so will that depend on how you guys used to communicate in order to find out? Like maybe he used to complain about certain things, then maybe he never used to talk about it as much because like men are afraid to talk about things that are embarrassing and all that.
That's the thing. That's the thing, and that's what changed me in a way.
Yeah.
Whenever a friend of mine comes to me and says, "Boy, I've been a fin too," right? My first instinct these days, before my friend committed suicide, it was you know,
Yes, like,
Filabeko.
let's just go have a pint.
Yeah.
Right? These days is, okay, boy, let's sit down. Let's talk. You know, talk to me. Now I've given you platform, I've given you an ear, right? I've given you attention. Now it's now you to open up to me. And I'll try my best to have you open up to me. But if you don't, you know, that's the end of the road for me.
Yeah.
So before my friend committed suicide, that was like a week before, he had texted me and he told me, like, he gave me a hint to say, this is how I'm feeling. And this is what I'm thinking about. So I told him, and this is a guy who used to, like, we used to joke around a lot. You know, like every single time we're joking. Every single time. There was no serious. So when he says something like that to me, I'm thinking, this
Everything
guy's-
is fine.
Yeah, you know. So I tell him, you know what? I've got a bit of time that day. On this day, let's go have a pint. Right? Let's go have a pint. Let's talk it out. You know, whatever it is, we'll squash it or whatever.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, no problem. That's what he said. No problem. What time? This time. Okay. All right. And then 3 days later or something like that, he just went quiet. I'm like, what's up with this guy? Try to call him, phone is off and stuff like that. And then I just heard the news, like, you know.
It's gone.
Yeah. So after that, I was like, okay, enough of this nonsense. When your friend is going through something, I tell take me for water now.
You don't just rub it off.
Yeah, no, this time, even if, yes, let's go and have a pint or something like that, sit down and actually try to listen. You see, you never know what the friend is going to reveal to you. Like, oh, yeah, boy, so now just a shine or something like that, you know. Yeah.
Because, you know, the thing is that us guys and women are extremely different.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
When a guy is going through something, when he says, yo, I need to talk to you, he means now. When a woman is going through something, they schedule it. They decide, oh, hey, I want to talk to you. I'm going through this. Okay, let's schedule it over lunch, or let's come to my place. We have a sleepover. So they tend to like prepare themselves and whatnot. But for a man, because that has hit him so hard that he can't think at that moment. So he's telling himself, I need to say this now, or else anything will happen.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
this is why it's
men,
difficult for men to actually control their emotions. And this is what we're not taught, you know, because you know what they say, emotional men are actually dangerous people, you know. So if we're taught if we were prepared, if we're taught to be prepared for what's to come as a man at your late stage after being a teen, right, we would have been prepared by all these circumstances that come to us, like, you know, financial issues, relationships, all these things, right? But we're not taught to prepare ourselves for this. So you find that when it hits us now, we're not ready for it. We're thinking, what am I supposed to do right now?
The feeling is foreign.
Do you know what I would tell if a friend of mine came to me and said, well, not necessarily suicidal thoughts or something. Like if a friend of mine came to me and said, dude, I'm feeling low and I'm going through something, especially if it's relationship wise or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what the first thing I would tell them?
Yeah.
Do not go online and listen to that ranting guy. That's the first thing I would tell them. Because that ranting guy has this me chakuti, me this, me what, me this, me can't do this, me what. Now you are there, you're feeling low, and then you listen to that ranting guy. He goes, me crying in front of a woman. You're like, what am I supposed to do?
No, but you know what? One thing is that a man's not supposed to. The only woman you can cry in front of is your mother. The moment you start,
there we go. You see, that's the language I'm talking about.
The moment you start crying in front of your woman, she'll feel sad for you, And believe you me, that feeling for a man doesn't go out immediately. You will still want to constantly review everything that you feel, right?
Yeah.
In front of your woman. And you know what's going to happen? She'll now distance herself to say, I don't know what to do with this guy now.
You know, just to back up what he said, we've done our own surveys in just speaking to girls in general. Even some we've brought on the podcast. And in as much as women have told us, you know, it's okay to open up to your man. Okay, we see them say these things online. I wouldn't care if my boyfriend used to open up to me, if he was vulnerable around me. But when you sit down with the ladies and you talk to them, they'll get to tell you. Since, you see, majority of the time, women are not in the fixing of problem and mindset. As a guy, when I tell you a problem, Wapi, you automatically, you're like, okay, how are we going to fix this
What's
issue?
the solution?
What's the solution?
Yeah,
Okay?
my ex-girlfriend used to hate that, you know, where like she tells me a problem and then I want to go straight to the solution.
No.
And then she goes, I don't want the
I just
solution
want you
first.
to
I want you
listen.
first to hold me and listen to me
Exactly.
first
See,
and then we can go.
That's the difference. Most girls will tell you that, look, I'm telling you not to fix the problem. I just want you to listen.
To listen, yes. Yeah. I've heard that a couple of times.
Exactly. So most women, they're not fixers in a way, okay? And when you tell them a problem, most girls have told us here that, okay, when a guy starts crying and telling me how he feels, majority of the time they are blank. They don't even know what to do. Whether to apologize.
The well goes dry.
Exactly.
They'll even say, look, sometimes I even freeze. I'm like, I don't know how to handle this emotion because they're always on the side of them when they break, somebody is there to
Hold them.
They're not.
But you see, the advantage of women, okay, and this is just my personal opinion. Maybe people have got different experiences. But the advantages of women, I assume, is that they can go to a man and be vulnerable. And the man would do whatever little things he can do. All right, they'll roll their eyes like, well, he tried, but at least he was there.
Yeah.
And then the next person they're going to go to is their girlfriends,
Yeah.
you know, their besties, their wife or whatever. You know, the women, they can do this, right? A man does not have that with his boys, all right? The boys, your homies are even going to get bored when, like, have you ever had an experience where, like, you're going through something, all of a sudden, the same Bamambala Sakunga and Dakumobe visiting now don't even come anymore.
They don't even come.
They don't even visit anymore. They don't invite you for chills because they're like, this guy, every time you invite him.
He's a party pooper. He's a
party
letdown.
pooper because he's just like complain about his problems and stuff like that. Now, guy goes to his girl. The girl says the same thing. Well, you know, he complains too much. So it's like the only friend that you're left with is, you know, other vices. You know what I mean?
You know what I believe?
Yeah.
The reason why us guys are mostly behave like that because we're all about solutions. Okay, cry for 3 days. After that, my friend, you gotta deal with that shit, man. You gotta sit down and say, okay, we've heard your story, we've given you the solution. Now roll with it and come back to us and say, yeah, guys, that what you did worked. But we keep keep on hearing you going back to that person. Yes. That keeps on hurting you. So what are we supposed to do? And you are roaming around with negative energy around you. When meanwhile men naturally are positive energy. We've got positive energy. So if you're the type of guy that is always negative all the time and you don't want to change, most guys will be like, bruh.
Yeah, because my mom is a psychologist, and the difference, she says, the differences between she did mostly child psychology, the boys and girls, okay? The fact that men are always solution-oriented. When I come with a problem with my guys, they just don't want me to cry about it and whine about it. They'll first listen to you. And then if there is a solution, okay, so Muntuandi, it's painful, we understand. But in order for the pain to stop, a solution has to be acquired. We have to find a solution.
Yeah.
Okay?
That is actually something that I welcome very much from my friends, and something I even attempt to do for my friends.
Yeah.
You know, yes, you're going through something. You know, yes, you're going through something, and I think, you know, it's a friend of mine who actually taught me this. Yes, you're going through something, but I'm not going to sit here and cry with you.
Yeah.
I'm going to listen to your problems. And then the first question I'm going to ask you is, okay, what do you think is the way forward?
Yeah.
And if you have a way forward, if you can think of a way forward, then I am going to be with you all the way.
Yes.
I'm going to be part of the solution. Okay. If the way forward is okay, inkwate Congo and defo impia, I'll help you out.
Yeah.
If the way forward is no, I'm going through this relationship breakup or divorce or something, I'll be there for you, whatever. That kind of a thing. I think that's how not just men, even women operate when, they're really trying to see that their friend is better. Not that you indulge your friend in, wallowing in self-pity
Exactly.
and you know what I mean? Do you want to say chira bushiku mshita for a while? Boy, whatever my problems. What on a bombi? Na bombi wala. Na bombi wala.
And the thing about
before you go, he wanted to say something.
Yeah.
I wanted to say about it also depends on the foundation of the friendship, how it's built. Most men usually just chill with guys and they always laugh all day. They joke all day.
Yeah, there's some useless friendships out there.
That's how friendships have been built over time, over months and years, to the point where by the time where he decides, you know what, let me try to open up for him today. That's when now it just feels weird. Like I wasn't expecting this from him.
Yeah.
So the only way they'll react is just to back off a bit, because they'll never taught how to handle that kind of situation.
It wasn't a friendship in concrete. In short, sorry.
Yeah, because too many men are not really careful on the kinds of people they choose to chill with.
Yeah, because
just chill with anyone.
Yeah,
anyhow.
picking.
As long as the world up over the guy.
That's the problem. And what you said. If what binds your relationship is just chills, that friendship is not going to last.
Yes.
Because and this is something that my mom was always critical about. Her being a psychologist, especially for children, my mom always wanted to know, who are my friends? Where are they from? What do their parents do? She wanted to know, because she believed, I never understood back then when I was too young, because in my head was like, mom is just trying to control who to hang out with. I have my cooler friends and my less cooler friends, But mom, it's when I grew up, then I understood, okay, every individual, based on their environment and where they come from, their thought line is somehow like this. Mom called them personality profiles of everybody, okay? So she wanted to know if my personality profile will align with the people I'm around with, so that way I can be smarter in how I pick friends, okay? And what you've said, when people have friendships, sometimes even the people you open up to, you have to. I'm sure even you, Wapi, there are some people I can never ask for help.
You can't. As much as I love some of my friends, we hang out. They're good people. Not that they're bad people.
Yeah,
they're good people and whatnot. But I've reached a point where I know who I can talk to and who I can't talk to.
Yeah.
I know who I can open up to and who I can't open up to, who I can be vulnerable with and who I can't be vulnerable with. You can't just go around telling your problems to everyone. You can't. Yeah. That's not practical.
No.
That's not even healthy for you.
Exactly.
There's some people you're going to be giving all that information and they'll just turn it into an AK-47.
Yes, they turn it into a weapon.
And they'll point it back at you and shoot you in the back.
Yeah.
I mean,
no, that's true.
And the most disrespectful thing most people will do when you tell them the problem is just telling you to do a joke. They start
Exactly.
laughing.
They start laughing about it.
Exactly. And sometimes you have to learn the hard way. I've learned the hard way sometimes, where like you think, okay, this is my friend, I can talk to this person and whatnot. And then you tell them. Have you ever been in a situation where you tell a friend something and then you hear it from somewhere else?
Yes.
But then you're like, there's no way anyone else could have known about this
except
if
from
not
that
for this
guy.
person.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So now you start, okay, so what else has this person
said?
Exactly. So you have to know who you can trust with that, because vulnerability is a big thing. It's a big deal,
It is.
especially for us men. The society we've grown up in, the way we've been raised, the friends that we've grown up with and stuff like that. It's difficult to just say something. In end of get out of the picture. What's wrong? Instead of you just saying that, I've got a headache. You're just like, I'm fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like very difficult. Now imagine you're going through something, you're depressed or something, and then you want to open up to someone. You can't just do that to everybody. That's going to be the downfall of you if you do that. But then the trick is, how do you identify who you can, trust?
I'll get back to that. The fact is that the reason also why most men actually indulge in suicide is because they don't accept what is being taught. So let's say, for instance, you come to me and say, oh,
This is going to be interesting.
let's say, for instance, you come to me and say, bro, my girlfriend dumped me, what. Then I'll ask you questions. Okay, why did she dump you? Did she complain about something? No, she said because I'm always broke. Okay, do you have something going on? No, I don't have something. I've been going through a lot, what. Okay, is your girlfriend working? Yes, she's working. The reason why she did this is because you're broke. No, it's not because of that. It's not because of that. No, bro. It's because you're broke. You're not doing anything. You're lazy. You don't have anything going on in your life. So it's better you accept it and you do something. Work on yourself. But there are most men that will not accept that. They'll say, no, she's the bad guy. She's the bad guy. So they take that pain, and what do they do with it? They now wallow into that depression, that negative energy. It grows on bigger and bigger and bigger every day. You know, she's the evil one. She's the one. Now, in the end, he becomes more toxic. He starts to text her. He starts to do all these crazy things. He doesn't want to accept life. He stays away from his friends because they know that his friends are actually going to tell him the truth. And what does he do? He offs himself. You know?
So
it's not every guy, but those are one of the reasons. I've met guys that are not, who cannot accept the truth.
in short, like, what you said is that since, it goes back to what Mr. Wapi here said a few moments
Lord
ago.
Wapi.
Sorry.
Sorry, my lord. What Lord Wapi said, the fact that now this is when it's like a new part of my brain has just opened up, you know. People commit suicide on different situations, and how they handle certain situations is different based on the problem they're facing, right?
Yeah.
So that can be one of the factors of to say some people are in denial.
Yeah.
In the sense that they cannot accept the reality of things as they are or how things have happened. And then there are some people who are just arrogant about things. They know, look, the situation you are in is somehow self-inflicted, but you're too arrogant to think, I'm not the problem. There are people I've met to tell you, no, it's not that.
Not me.
It's this person. There are people who believe they cannot wrong themselves. Only external people can make them feel a certain negative way. Sometimes the way people treat you is just, I would say it's a result of how you treat yourself in a way, how you carry yourself. But I don't think it would go for every person that has committed suicide.
No.
That could be one of the people
reasons.
in terms of they are in denial and they don't accept things as they are and maybe would not want to work on changing the situation on what they are in, maybe.
And you see, the thing is, we all react to situations differently.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to the issue of relationships, and I'm guessing your view or your opinion, that particular moment is centered on relationships and how that can drive a man or a woman to committing suicide.
Yeah.
By the way, there's also the other tragedy, which is sometimes it goes to suicide and sometimes it goes to murder, right? Homicide. Yes. So there's some people who go to the extreme of committing homicide, and then there are those that go to the extreme of committing suicide.
Yeah.
But somebody has to die.
Exactly. Somebody has to go.
And you never. Well, there's some people that probably do understand what goes through people's heads when they reach that point. I haven't. You never understand because it's and a lot of people like saying things online and I mean, thank God for social media, yes, but my goodness, everyone has an opinion. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And some opinions are premature. Why can't you just leave? As if
It's that easy.
it's not that easy for some people to just leave a relationship, maybe that they believe they built, for years and they made so many sacrifices and there's been so many chemistry built and whatever. And you're just asking this person, just leave. All right. I even tell my friends, like, don't come to me and tell me something like that. When I come to you and I say, well, this lady is, is acting a little bit, crazy or something like that. And you're like, just leave her. why don't you leave my house? You know what I mean? Why don't you leave my house? I didn't say I want to leave. I'm just trying to, confide. So, you can't just chuck it up to, why didn't you just leave?
No, the thing is that it's not as easy as that.
Right.
This is why you don't have to go straight to saying just leave her. You don't know what's been happening. You find maybe he's the problem, and that's why she's acting like that. So you need to ask
be the problem.
questions.
She could be the problem. They could both be the problem.
Yeah. Ask questions. Okay, when did she start acting like this? Did she ever sit down with you and ask you and tell you why she's acting like that? And if you find those answers, you now tend to realize, say, oh shit, maybe I'm the wrong one. Maybe I should change. But if you just tell the person, just leave, now his emotions are like, what? I love this girl. I can't leave. What the hell? These guys have told me that. No, sit down, relax, ask him questions. The thing is that most people are going straight to an answer. Leave her.
Yeah.
Do this.
I think there should be some sort of build-up before you come to the end result.
Exactly.
Okay? You should first look at it from, go as far as, okay, how long have you known this person? If it's in the context of relationship, how long have you been together? Okay. How has been your relationship the past 4 or 5 years? Okay. How has, then from there you should be able to pick how things have been building up. Because, things just don't, things like this don't just happen instantly. Like out of the blue, it just happened. That's when it comes to relationship-wise. Though, the person the person that inspired this particular episode, okay? Like Lord Wapi, it's really hard to say if why he committed suicide was that long post he had made, right? If that was the actual reason, or if there was something else that was bothering him, but he used that, maybe it could be an excuse. I'm not sure. But even though that was what he wrote to us was the actual situation, at first when I saw somebody has committed suicide, I felt some type of emotion, felt sorry. Then as I was reading, I was like, well, some of these things, even you were the issue in here. Like, how long are you going to take disrespect from somebody else till the time you end in this situation? Okay. If somebody causes you nothing but heartache and pain, like, don't you think you should be making some certain moves even before it got to the point where we are? It goes back to what I was saying. Some people are just too stubborn to accept the reality of the certain things that are going on. Like in the context, the very comment the post he made, it was a guy just failing to accept, bro, this lady she's just not for you, man. Like,
how does the situation go? How does the situation go if, say, in an alternative universe, he decided to just post that situation on one of these pages, hide my ID or something like that, and perhaps Men's Conference picked it up, right? Minus obviously the suicide part. Just, okay, this is what I'm going through. What kind of advice would you then render to
him? Okay,
this is assuming that maybe someone else is going through the same thing, and
Okay, the advice I would give them is this: like, every person, you have what we call self-respect. Okay, there's a reason why you don't just allow anyone to come at you, especially when you've done nothing wrong, and then somebody comes to disrespect you. But in the context of the Nathan, I believe that was his name, before the suicide, I would say, first of all, you admitted when we that na okay, and you also said gelo you amsangire alikwero with somebody else. Okay, most relationships I've seen where you had to steal a partner from somebody, there's a way they work. It's almost like a cycle. Okay, if you just walked up to somebody, broke the relationship, and stole that person, what prevents you from, what makes you think the same won't happen to you? You literally ripped this person from somebody else's arms, okay? How special do you think everything will work? It won't happen like the last person it did. And then the other issue is, even in as much as he said, I changed, I tried to change my ways, I thought she would change too. First of all, every human being is individual. You're not going to change somebody unless they want to change. I would have given I would have given advice to say, look, first of all, you do not have power over her to change. It's her decision to make. The lifestyle she's living, you don't like it. Well, you've talked to her several times. She's told you, she's apologized. He said, we always used to fight. We come together, we fight, we come together. Like, how long are you going to continue with this cycle of you, panono, you fight, you come back together. She tells you she stops. Tomorrow she does the same thing she told you to stop. At some point, it's a bit of your fault, the fact that you've allowed it to drag this long. You can give somebody a second chance, but how far are you going to go forgiving the person? In as much I was like, look, do you wish to continue to be in this relationship where every day you're the one complaining? In as much as I would tell him, like, look, it's going to be, I know you love this girl. It's going to be very difficult, but for your own health, it's best you would start pulling away.
And I'd like to point out that the reason why also, that now that you bring that up, too many guys worship their girlfriends way too much, to the point whereby now they replaced God with her now. She's like,
there's nothing wrong with worshiping your girlfriend.
There is.
Worshiping your woman too much, there's nothing wrong with that.
I would love to first let him finish.
Okay,
and then
all right, cool.
I would like to hear you.
because I'm sure in the Bible you've heard them saying, "Be careful, false idols," right?
Right.
So now you're showing all that attention to that same girl. You're buying her all this stuff. It's like now you can't breathe without her. You're always thinking about her. You're always trying to do so many things just to make her happy. Then now there'll be that one day where you just find out that she's been with someone else this whole time. She never really thought you were that important. She didn't really care about you. Now that kind of, it shatters your world. It crumbles it to the point whereby you have nothing left. You have nothing to live for, to the point where now you end up ending your life and all that shit. Yeah.
That's one, Lord Wapi.
Yeah, so I was saying that there's nothing wrong with worshiping your woman.
Please
No,
explain.
because the thing is, I wonder why. I wonder why. I mean, this is a Christian nation, right? And the majority of the population claims to be Christian and to practice its doctrines and whatnot. And why don't you? I mean, the way you treat God and Jesus Christ and the religion itself. No matter what happens in your life, you never go, you know what, to hell with this religion, or to hell with the deities that I worship. I still go back there because you realize, you know what, it's just a phase. So relationships, why don't people treat them like that? You're talking about, worshiping your woman. Worship her. If you're going to worship her, then she goes off rail a little bit.
I think there's a time for that, yes, but too many men do it on a constant basis because.
So that's you don't worship your woman.
I mean,
Maybe what Laz is using. I'll just speak here. Maybe Laz, the term you're using is dependency.
Oh no, not dependency.
I think there's a miss.
What I'm trying to say is
like an English.
Yeah, because I feel like, look,
okay,
when
I mean worship, right? I mean, like, for example, like, you can't exist without her, right?
That's the dependency.
Whenever she's not there, in your head, you're like, I'm lost. I don't know what to do. I mean, think about it.
I know the word you're looking for.
Yeah.
I was just waiting for you to say it. Yeah. So let me help you out.
Okay, right.
It's not worship. Worship is a far positive term to attribute to what you're trying to say. The word you're looking for is obsessed. That's the word you're looking for.
That's the best.
There's some women who are obsessed with their men. There's some men who are obsessed with their women.
For sure.
Dangerous.
Look, and this is why, for that same story, to prevent a man from actually committing suicide, is that, like he said, or should I say, use the word obsessed. Because what was happening in there is that let me just use that term he used. You replaced your God with her. So in the end, you tend to focus more on her and remove everybody outside your relationship and only focus on her, to the point that you're not expecting the unexpected. In life, you need to expect the unexpected no matter what. that's how life is. We cannot control it. We have no power over it. It's just the way life is. Anything can happen. And the way the new age has come, social media, women are consuming TikTok, social media, on how men should treat women. So in that case is that when a man is too obsessed with a woman, she takes that as weakness to the point whereby this man cannot live without me. I can use him. I can do whatever I want with him. Because if I was to sleep around with 10,000 men, he'll still be around, not knowing that is hurting the man. And in her head, she's like, he'll still come back. So when the man tends to sit down and think to himself to say, I have tried everything I can with this woman, it's like he doesn't see bad in her. All he sees is, I'll change her, to the point now it's breaking him mentally without him even knowing. The only time he'll know is when now in the process of committing suicide. Now he's there dying and it's like, what is this really happening? Because 99% of suiciders actually regret taking a certain substance or offing themselves because now the pain and
the ones that are tempted.
Oh,
Exactly.
that's an assumption, right?
I mean,
I don't suppose-
no, statistics have actually said that.
Where like someone took a substance or took
tend
poison
to
and then they were
regret
like,
they tend to regret it in their bed. Like, I wish I never took this, because they have no idea of how much pain they have. You know, they can't comprehend it. The body cannot comprehend it, not until you do it. So the fact is that I understood what he said. He replaced, religion or spirituality with his girlfriend. He started now worshiping her. Not until now, it was too late for him to now turn back and accept it, to say, this girl, this is how she is, let me move on in life and just, and then focus on myself. As a man, you need to focus on yourself. And this is what I keep on saying as all the time. Focus on yourself, family, friends, and then the woman will come last. I'm not saying you're neglecting the woman. I'm not saying that. But women love it when a man is building himself. And when a man builds himself, he's not saying, I'm going to become better so that I can get revenge on that girl. No, he's saying that I'll become better so that I can build a strong family for my wife, have a bright future for my kids. That's the kind of mindset that men have. I'm not saying it's all men. I'm not saying all men are good, but there are some men that actually, a large majority of men, we think like that, to say, if I build my wealth, if I focus on the activities to build myself and focus on my family and friends, believe you me, I'll have a better chance of having a gorgeous wife or a good wife and a bright future, and I'll build my kingdom successfully. But the fact is that you neglect your friends, you neglect your family, you don't want to listen to your friends, because I bet you 100% that this guy went to his friends and asked him, guys, this woman is done so and so. What is it that I do?
You can't bet 100%.
I bet 100. Guys, believe you me.
You can't.
I think majority of the time where
that-
men, it's because of the women, right? Whenever they're going through issues.
and
like,
this is the thing. This is why I even said in the beginning of this conversation to say you can create all these standards.
Mm-hmm.
I know these standards are imaginary. Trust me, they're personal.
Yeah.
And which is okay. But then you can say, oh well, a man is supposed to be this man who chases his dreams and ticks out his goals, and he wants to build a strong family for his woman, for himself, and for his children, and the future, and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. And trust me, there's some men who've done that, right? They've done that, and they still were given, a shit pie by life, or by relationships, or by their colleagues, or by their friends. All right. Sometimes you can do all the right things. You can check all the boxes, and still you're going to, find yourself, neck deep in shit. You understand?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. I wish that some of these people that commit suicide where you could, I don't know, contact them somehow.
Yeah.
So that we have a conversation.
Wait, so basically most people who make posts about suicide online on Facebook, so what you're saying is that even if he wrote that couldn't be the main reason why
Yes.
he did it. Oh, okay.
That's what I'm saying. You can't, there's no way someone who's passed, who's deceased, can leave a note and then you take that as the gospel truth. Think about the kind of storm of emotion that someone might be going through in their heart, in their head.
Yeah.
Okay, to be at the at the very edge of ending their life, they can write anything. All right, there's so much going on in their head. They can literally write, okay, you know what, Beyonce is my mother. All right, so you can't take a suicide note and go. You can presume, okay, you know what, there's some truth to this because there's no smoke without fire. Yada yada yada. But you can't say that everything that they wrote there, is the honest truth. And just take it as this person was going through something. They committed suicide, but then you can't then remain. And that's why I'm saying that the other thing I wanted to say before was, in Zambia, we only discuss these important issues when something happens. We never carry on the conversation so we can figure it out. It's only when something happens. It even like, since this is going on YouTube, the word that rhymes with cape.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Even when that happens, it's only when it happens when we have conversations, but we're not continuously having conversations. I know that there's some organizations that probably have this in their offices, in their conferences and whatnot, but generally we don't. So that's what I'm saying. We cannot center the entire suicide conversation on this particular incident, and also we cannot have premature thoughts on whatever it is we assume might have caused this particular nankan.
And understand
Because
what
I'll tell you, my friend, what was the main? My friend, what the main thing that most people were saying about my friend was that he was a Satanist. Yes. That was it.
Wow.
And the only reason they were saying that is because they went through his Facebook, and they noticed he's one of these guys who's always, cracking, religious jokes. You know what I mean? He's a Satanist. Not even a single bit did this guy ever indulge himself and stuff like that. But then that was the social media. The social media went with that.
Yeah.
So the rest of us who were close to him, who knew him, just had to watch it.
You see, the thing is that we're not saying we're basing the suicide on that. But there are a couple of steps that a man needs to take in order to... We're not saying it's going to be 100%, but you need to take a couple of steps to prevent you from thinking in that time. Everyone here who has thought, no, it would be better if the world was it would be better if I wasn't there. The world would be better without me.
Yeah.
But then again, you also need to tell yourself to say, look, well, let me give you the reality of suicide, right? When you do it, people will cry for you 1 day or 2 days. After the funeral, they'll be like, this guy's a chipuva. What the hell? Why did he do this? They'll tend to research. Oh, so this is what he did. This guy is silly. How does he do that? Then at the end of the day, they'll start drinking. They'll say, this guy would have been here if he celebrated with us. Why didn't he just tell us all these things?
I don't think when they're in that moment, they even care what other people think. Because here's the thing. Here's the thing about death. You want to know what people said about you when you're gone. I don't think they care about that situation.
Thank you very much. That's a funny thing. People,
no one. But you're never gonna know anyway.
But
can you imagine? Can you imagine people actually go on a deceased person's Facebook page and they post to the person?
They go in the comment section.
Yes.
You know he's not going to read
is
that shit.
Dead.
Exactly, I get it. But why is it that they have to write a note, have to write all these things and say, hey, guys, you will miss me when I'm gone. Why? It's because those guys care about what people think. When they do it, they're like, maybe they'll change the perspective. Yeah. Maybe they'll care about me even more.
Yeah, but here's the thing. It goes back now, and I'm understanding from where Lord Wapi is coming from. Because here's the situation. People are killing themselves, committing suicide for different reasons. There are others that also love their attention when they do it. There was a guy at, you remember when we were in high school? We heard a story that Pamunali, there's a guy who wanted to commit suicide. He didn't get to do it, but for some reason, it's like he wanted an audience. I think, I'm going to kill myself.
Yeah.
We don't know if he believed the height was going to kill him or something. But anyway, gets on the roof of a classroom and says, I'm going to jump, I'm going to kill myself. Got the audience, people, started laughing at him. Others are begging him. Then he gets off. Then there are others who get to actually do it because they feel they will punish the person who hurt them. If there is a person that will hurt them, like they'll more like guilt trip. Like when I kill myself, like the same Nathan, he said, I remember very well, he said, I used to tell my wife that one day she'll kill me. It's like he thought to himself, when I commit my suicide, I will leave her in a very, very terrible mental state. Like I will punish her. She will die from guilt because she knows I killed myself because of her. So there are different situations on how some people do it. The person you're talking about is the person who wanted some attention. There are people that have killed themselves with no note, didn't tell anyone, basangiref enough. Just found the person is dead. They didn't seek for an audience. They didn't even explain. Even though we are saying that some of the notes, suicide notes, are not, they're not
100% fact.
what made the person go through there.
Yeah.
Others, they don't. Some families, up to now, they don't even know what went wrong. Okay, so it depends on what kind of individual and what they were looking for at the end of the day at that time.
The only thing I would say, to that is I hope that couples, not just the ones that are going through so much stuff that suicidal thoughts now start infecting their mind, but even like abusive relationships and all that stuff. Maybe if you think about your children, perhaps things can be different, can turn out different, right?
Think of what's more important.
Exactly, the children. So if I were to, if I were to commit suicide because I want to get back at my woman, who happens to be the mother of my children, instead of me thinking about how much that is going to hurt her and how I'm going to humiliate her and stuff like that, I should think about how all of that is going to then affect
The kids.
the kids,
yeah.
right? Because if I leave the mother in a state of mental distress, humiliated, embarrassed, people saying all sorts about her, what does that do? Like, what does that do to her that will then affect how she is
Going
mother,
to remain, because what
to
you
my
said
children,
is,
right?
We've
But
seen situations where
before you actually prolong, I would like to know what are the reasons. Like maybe you could state down reasons, and then you can also state down like preventions to those reasons as well, to why guys commit suicides, because there's so many reasons to why they actually do it.
Reasons we can stay here the whole week.
Okay, maybe we can say one.
Yeah.
Like one at you say, he says, you say.
okay,
Well, I can
I'm
start
sure we're
with-
running out of time.
Yeah,
I can start. I can start. I think simple, really. Support and love. I mean, let's face it. Even as friends, there's only so much you can offer each other as guys.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, he's going to have his own family. He's going to have his own mother, his own father. That like show him love. But for him, it's probably a different scenario, right? Because not all households are full of love and happiness. Most of them are full of anger, negativity, to the point whereby now he's going out there trying to find his own family. Okay, let me talk to this girl. Maybe she's someone I can hang out with, love with. But then she ends up doing something shitty to the point whereby I was like, I thought she was the one.
Yeah.
Talk to the guy. He might offer advice here and there, but there's always going to be that envy whereby like, I like his life. I want to have that. But no matter how hard you try to have it, or no matter how hard you try to get it, you will never have it. It's just then to the point whereby now you feel crushed. So I feel like, I think like the reason why is because they don't feel loved. They don't feel like anyone believes in them. That's the reason why at the end of the day, they kill themselves.
Okay. For me, to say what Lord Wapi said, how others unalive themselves to try and trigger a certain negative emotion from the person that hurt them, to more like, I want to punish you for you to be guilty for the rest of your life. We've heard people say those things. But that can work, but it can also work to the extreme. For example, if it's your lover, both either male or female, it's your lover, right? And then you want to punish them by killing yourself. We've had a situation where you commit suicide to punish the other person. That person also can't handle it, commit suicide also. You understand? Like he said, when you have children, imagine you want to punish your wife. You unalive yourself so that she should feel some type of way because of what she did to you. Even her, the pressure now, because you left a note, everybody is now looking at her to be evil, to be also, she has that pressure also. She also takes herself. Now, what have you done? You've taken you and your wife out of the equation. The kids are now more vulnerable than they were before. So people should think about that. But when it comes to suicide, in as much as you'd say, guys, don't think like that, they've been, where I'll lie on here is what my mom would say, sometimes it's also a mental illness issue. Because my mom says, you do realize what kind of bravery you have to reach
That stage.
To take your life. It's not for the faint of heart. It's not, look, somebody can point a gun at you and tell you to do it. The way you would tremble. Some wouldn't even manage. They'll just say, it's best you just do it. Okay? So sometimes it's, my mom says, it's the decaying of the mental state. This is why it just doesn't happen instantly. Others, it's time. So as your mental state is decaying slowly to a point that's the only solution your brain can actually function on, just going out. So it's not just because somebody chipuba or doesn't want, sometimes it's just this person needs help. That's why others, when they were not successful, they take them to rehab. They try to take them to understand why they get to where they are. Others, you find, like he said, you find this man had everything. For all we know, Twitch, probably, you say he had a wife, he had kids, he was famous, he was rich, he even hosted the Ellen DeGeneres show at some point. Everything was going on. You would find that maybe he didn't even have any pressure of any kind. Maybe it was just something snapped in the brain. It was just a mental situation. Hence, that's why he never left a note. That's why his wife said to him he was fine the whole time. Yep. She never saw any signs of whatever. So sometimes it could be a mental issue. So that's why I would say the best you can do is when you start having those thoughts, speak to people, try to get help. You cannot put yourself in isolation. Suicide thrives in isolation. That's what I would say.
Yeah. Well, why do people commit suicide?
Yeah.
They commit suicide because they can, you know. It's a miracle. It's a miracle to convince someone who has decided they're going to commit suicide not to do it. You know, like the example of Twitch. Twitch made sure the kids were home, the wife was okay. He booked a room at a motel, I believe, far away from home. You know, took his gun, went there, and he did it. So usually, from what you know, from just like what I've learned so far, is that the people that have actually made a decision to commit suicide, you'll find that they're the most peaceful, they're the most happy. You look at them and they just look like everything is okay. Yeah. The person who was 2 weeks ago crying and looking depressed and whatever, all of a sudden you're looking at them like, oh, look at this guy. Look at sunshine and rainbows, right? That point they've actually made a decision, I'm doing it. They're at peace with themselves. You know, now to convince that person who's at peace with themselves, say like, I'm doing it, it's a miracle if you can actually reverse that. So people commit suicide because they can. And for the rest of us, you know, who knows? Maybe one day we'll be driven to the point where things are so bad, you also feel the same way. So you just have to imagine, okay, if I am in that situation, if I'm feeling like that and my mind is not my own and my mind is telling me there's only one solution here, okay? You have to do it. You want someone to be there. So when you are okay, that's now an opportunity for you to be there for someone else. You never know who it is. That's why very big on greeting people. Hi, how are you? You know, Mambala, not going to fight, I'm fine. Tell me if everything is fine. You know what I mean? You know, checking up on your buddies every now and then. Yeah. You know what I mean? Deliberately. Yeah. That kind of a thing. Like it's a huge thing to deal with, but I think that we can try to you know, reduce it as much as possible.
Yeah. Cool. No, I like that. No, what you said about how long? 10 minutes? Yeah. Amazing. So what you said about you're big on greeting people, that's like a very big thing. And I realized I came across a quote last year when a man said, it's easier to ask people, how are you? But do we really ask them, are you okay?
Genuinely.
Are you okay? You know, it's different when you say, yo, how are you? I'm fine. But when you ask them, are you okay?
It's like
That
a default
feeling,
answer.
It's like, yo, okay, I'm going through a lot. So with that, it's really important to actually sit down with your homies to say, look, I get it that life is crazy, but are you okay? Okay, bruh, things have been shit lately. So. That way, there's a chance for him to prevent himself from doing harm to himself, you know, because we carry ourselves as, we don't care, as we're men, I don't care about my friends, you know, that kind of thing. When meanwhile, we're supposed to carry, I'm there for you whenever you need to talk to me. Like,
True.
I'm there. If you need to talk, just talk. Whether it's a text, whether it's a call, because one thing about us men is that we can sense it. When you call me at a particular time, I'll know, like, okay, he needs to talk.
To me na 03.
What's going on? Maybe I'll go and see him, you know. Yo, what's happening? You know, so there are so many reasons, but I'll just say one. One of them is work. You find that the work they're doing they're getting paid so well. Like you said, DJ's Twitch was getting paid so well. You find that the work they are doing is amazing, but the environment, how is the environment treating your mind? How's the energy in there? You know, are you interacting with people the way you want to interact with? Is the pressure so much on you? And this is why it's important to take a sabbatical. Leave, you know, just take a break. You know, whether it's a month, you know, take those leave days that you've been given so that you can just clear your mind. And when you clear your mind, you can come back to say, hey, guys, I'm ready for the work. But because we're so overloaded by the way society is brainwashing us to say, you need to work. Life is not all about work, man. You need to live. You're a human being. You ain't no robot.
What you've mentioned is very real. I have a cousin. Just spoke to him yesterday. You know, I can't say where he was working for obvious reasons, but you know, I was telling him, you still at that company? Nali Fumako. So I'm thinking to myself, because he told me how much he was getting paid, what the benefits were. They give you a car, they pay for your rent. You know, it's one of those jobs that when you have, your salary would literally sit without touching it. They fix everything that you need around you. Your salary will just be like an extra thing for you. So I'm like, but why did you leave? And it's like, bro, you know, there are those working environment. Boss is talking to you in a certain tone. The place was, everyone is condescending. You know, you can tell these people don't like me. During lunch, we can have your weka. No one wants to interact. And they only get to talk to you when there's a mistake you've made and they want to call you.
So basically, it stems down to the point I was making that the reason why is because they don't feel loved and respected.
Yeah.
Because if you're in an environment,
it's one of the factors.
Because if you're in an environment where people just, like you said, always just, criticizing you, always complaining, always doing that, and it's affecting your mind, then you're like, there's no one here who appreciates what I'm doing. There's no one who has faith in me. No one who says, bro, I appreciate you. I love being around you. That kind of what do you call it? Emotion displayed. I feel like men don't usually get that.
And because of social media, a lot of these days we are all comfortable, and we are comfortable with the idea of a person as opposed to the person himself or herself. So the ranting guy, you understand? That's the idea of people already have an idea of him. So if he had to break character and say, well, I'm not feeling okay, like, you say Lord Wapi, like they have an idea of that. So like, Lord Wapi, takwe tempia or something, like, you know what I mean? So social media is all about the idea of a person, and then people, that's why we laugh and we mock and we do all these things when people break character on social media and go, guys, I'm asking for 1,000. I really don't have.
Exactly.
They could be genuine, or they could be, they could be manipulating us.
Yeah.
But, you will never know the difference because you just want everyone to just have a party on social media.
And now that you bring social media in, I think as well that social media kind of presents a false narrative of how life should be.
That's what
to the point whereby now you're like, I can't wait to get there.
Perception is reality.
5 years pass, you're like, I'm still not there. What happening? So now you become depressed. Then now, the more depressed you become, now you start to decide, let me just...
And this is why I say, take a sabbatical. social media is toxic as well. If you are
Everyone is
feeding
happy
into
on
that-
social media. Have you ever noticed?
if you're feeding into it, sometimes I've seen people who've gone offline for like months and they come back and they've changed, man. All because they knew that this is what's affecting my mental state. So what do I have to do? Let me take a break. This person is also gaining money. He's having money. But because there's a certain lifestyle that certain people present that it's bothering you. So you need to just take a sabbatical. Let me deactivate my account. The only way people contact me is through direct call or messages or on some certain app that not everybody uses. So that's what they'll do. They'll take a break. Okay, months go by. Now they feel like, okay, let me see what's going on social media. Let me come back. Now they feel better. They feel energetic. People are asking you, where have you been and whatnot? Because he had to take a break. So most people indulge in social media that they don't want to take a break. They feel like if I leave, I'll miss out. Nigga, you're not missing out on anything.
FOMO.
Yeah, FOMO.
That's good advice. Get off social media. Try to form some genuine connections and relationships with actual people.
Yes.
Not just these, social media friends.
In the
that you call
comment
friends.
section.
They'll never come through for you.
Never. They'll laugh at you.
They'll create
Exactly.
content over you.
Get off social media. Take a walk. Form some genuine friendships that are real. Even just 2-3 friends is enough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Read a book.
Yeah.
Drink some water, please.
Yeah.
Something like that.
What you've said is true. Stats have been showing that suicide rate amongst humans are at all-time high. They just keep going up. And I believe social media has been a very great amplifier of this situation. Because, people look at just how we take photos, selfies. Okay, I feel like I'm not photogenic, so I'm not so big on photos myself.
Yeah.
But we've seen people, their friends, some of my close friends and family, 2 minutes ago, pressure, crying, but uploads a photo. Bro,
Goes
we
live.
know you're not happy. We know you're not happy.
Goes
You
live
know
as well.
what I mean? Posts like when God comes through for you, bro. You were 2 minutes ago. You were telling me you are fucked. What are you talking about? Because there's this. They fake it till you make it. Perception is reality mentality we're living in. Everybody wants to be a superstar today. With social media, it's made it easy. Back in the day, we thought being a superstar is just for some people. It wasn't. You can't access it anyone. Today, you can make a sneaky dance video. Tomorrow you have 250,000 followers. You're now a superstar.
Everyone is a superstar. Everyone is a
That's the thing.
celebrity. Everyone is an influencer.
So-
everyone is a household name.
And you know what makes it worse is that on social media there's too many different iterations on what success looks like. Too
Exactly.
many to the point it messes with your head. Like, you don't know what's true. You don't know what's false.
Because everybody's successul on social media. So it's
Anyway,
wild.
before we actually end the show, I'd love to read a message right here. So it
Messages.
says,
Fire.
messages. So this
The
one
sun is
just-
back up now.
So this would be like a quick advice. So this guy actually writes to me saying, please help me. I'm a young man, age 24. I have a girlfriend whom I dated for 2 years now. Right now, she is at university in Zambia, but her motherland is Malawi. But the girl, whenever we have an argument, she always asks for a breakup. And just today, she has told me that I'm only her mere boyfriend, not the man who will marry her. But yet we agreed that we will get married once she's done with her studies. And I support her like her husband. Even fees I do help her sometimes. Tell me what to do. Should I continue with her or should I leave her? I'm not okay because I love this girl most and I never cheated on her and I spend much on her.
My word.
He's definitely 24. You can tell the mind state.
It sounds 24.
So let's start from Laz, quick advice.
Where do I start from? Because there's so many things he's doing wrong there. Because first of all, he's made it like we talked about earlier, like he's put her on a pedestal here. So, and that's the mistake. That's the first mistake you shouldn't make when you're with a girl. You shouldn't put her to a high pedestal whereby now you're like, I love her. I can't, I can't do without her. And at the same time, now he said he's paying the fees, right?
Yeah.
So now he's basically building her to a certain stage whereby now, at some point, she's going to have the option now to leave him and say, I'm done with this guy. I don't need him anymore.
Yeah.
And besides, you said she's all the way in Malawi, right?
No, that's her motherland.
That's her
She's
motherland?
in
She goes back to
university.
Malawi.
Yeah.
Oh,
when
she goes-
I'm sure that's the
Yeah.
situation.
Oh, so after she's done with school, then she goes
Yeah.
back.
She goes back to Malawi.
Oh, okay. But that's a tough situation right there. But now the question is, does she feel the same way?
Yeah, that's the thing.
That's what I'll say is this, my guy, you're 24, all right? You're 24 and you're here building your friend. Let's be real here. It's not even about building your girl anymore here, okay? The issue of pedestal, I don't think it's okay for you to put somebody on a pedestal. That can't put you on a pedestal. This person is disrespecting you. So why do you feel the need? Because I feel like he believes the more I take care of her, the more I do, is maybe she'll give me some positive energy. Maybe she'll respect me or love me. Yeah. Bro, the more you keep on doing it, the more you make it worse. This person doesn't feel the same way about it. You know, somebody once told me, just because you are in love with somebody, it doesn't mean they should love you back. Yeah. That's not how love works. Yeah. You could fall in love with somebody and they don't feel the same way for you. There are people, you care for this person, but you know, even though I'm doing this for this person, they can never do this back. Yeah. But that doesn't mean you're entitled for them to feel the same way for you. You're 24, you cannot be building your friend, okay? You're paying for school fees, you're 24. I would very much like to know how he's paying for our school fees at 24, because in Eronari 24 it was
maybe
nothing. But here's the thing, maybe that could be. But at 24, he's just, you know, he's punching above his weight at this point. He needs to calm down a little bit, find some friends, you know, get to know the world a little bit more. Don't invest too much. He's too young, bro. All I can say is, that's why I say he's 24. He's too young for you to be pulling up such decisions in their 40s or something like that. In short, yes. Otherwise, you're too young, bro. You can't put yourself in that kind of pressure.
Lord Wapi.
Yeah.
I'll give you one word from what I've heard here. You are this to this young lady of yours. You're this. You're disposable. That's what you are. Okay. When a lady keeps coming every single time you have a simple argument and then whatnot, and she threatens you if I'm going to break up with you, just know you're disposable. She's trying to tell you, like, anytime she's going to drop you, okay, and you better behave. So, and the more she trains you like that, you become, one of those very nice little puppies, eh? You know, she tells you to sit, you sit. She tells you to stand, you stand. Roll, you roll, okay? Chase that stick, you chase the stick. Because you know that if you don't do it, she's going to say, well, I'm going to break up with you. Yeah. So, and then, like, has been said already, you're young, okay? Stop that, please.
Belt, get a belt.
You're young, 24. Man,
if I was his older brother,
in fact, I don't think I even fully gave my advice towards what he was supposed to do. Like he said, stop investing in her too much. But at the same time, don't end the relationship. But be prepared that she's going to leave at the end of the day.
Because she's hanging over. It's blackmail.
She's going back to Malawi. It's not like,
Exactly.
You don't even know who's in Malawi right now.
Exactly. She probably has someone in Malawi.
So my advice would just keep her, have fun with her, and then if she leaves. I mean, you're still young.
I like that. So what I would say is that prepare yourself for anything. Expect the unexpected. Women are actually very slightly difficult to read, because as a young man, believe you me, you're not experienced. You're 24, you are not experienced, you're still new in the dating game. So don't think you're able to control and read the lady. So at the end of the day, be prepared for anything. Don't be serious with this girl. If she threatens to break up with you, cool, it's okay. And please, my guy, stop paying for school fees if you are dealing with that type of girl who's always threatening to break up with you. You have no idea what's happening in the background, right? If she goes back to Malawi, she's going to marry someone else. She's not considering you, even though you guys have sat down and spoken about marriage. Prepare, expect the unexpected. Like I always say, put yourself first, family, friends, and then her last. Concentrate on your hobbies, concentrate on your studies, be a better person. You're a man at the end of the day. So we have to end the show. It's been great. It's been awesome. It's been amazing.
Before we end the show.
We already said our last words. We already said our last words.
Okay, otherwise it's been a great show.
Our producers will kill us.
Otherwise, Lord Wapi.
And have you noticed that this is the most peaceful episode we've ever had?
There's no fights, bruh. There's no fights.
This is the most calm I've ever seen him.
Yeah, no hooliganism.
Yes.
It's the environment. There was no need for hostility. Okay, calm down.
Lord Wapi, you did something to this guy.
I think so.
Dude, you've got good
He's
energy.
a big brother.
You've got good energy.
I think
You know, they say umwana la elinganya pabakulu. He's my big brother, so I have to act accordingly. Next week will be different.
I'm very surprised. I'm surprised that renting guy didn't run today.
So it's been great. It's been fun. It's been amazing.
Yeah.
Bongo Bongo is our sponsor for today's episode. Make sure to click our link in the description below and play some awesome games like Aviator and Candy Crush. It's as easy as that. If you want to win some awesome prizes, or if you want to look forward to awesome prizes and giveaways like Samsungs, fridges, money, etc., visit the Facebook page. That is Bongo Bongo Zambia. It's been great. It's been fun. I'm your host, DC, and I had Laz, that ranting guy, and I had the Lord in the building, Lord Wapi.
Thank you very much for
Thank you
coming.
very much for
having me,
coming
guys.
through, man.
You're welcome.
We'll do another one.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Very much.
Deuces, guys.